and Tino in front. TikTok Queen's going to get there late, and RNT on the outside. Photo finish. Oh my goodness.
Surges away. Banker's Choice. Johnny Allen's got his third Ballarat Cup.
Kerwin's Lane got to the front from Lion's Roar. Kerwin's Lane clings on. Kerwin's Lane won the Ingham.
Well, that's what happened last year, and it's all ahead of us today. We've got Royal Randwick, Ballarat and Eagle Farm to look forward to, of course, the Gateway, the Ballarat Cup and the Ingham. They produced some good horses in the past, and we're hoping to see some future stars this afternoon. We've got our coverage today brought to you by myself, Lizzie Jelfs, Will Friedman. A very warm welcome to you. Will, there's plenty on offer today, and it's a big day for you as well. You've got a runner in race number 5 and an important runner for yourself as a part owner.
Yeah, half part owner. There's nothing that improves a horse like ownership. So I'm very hopeful at this stage, but things can go two ways and the other. But it's a pretty, chock-a-block program. We've got the Ingham, the Winning You're Into, the Doncaster, the Ballarat Cup, which you just saw John Allen and the emotion that he showed going over the line. It means a lot to them. English Nursery, which is traditionally a good race, and then we've got a whole heap of lead-up races to what will be a really big Magic Millions carnival in the new year.
Yeah, not only that, we've got very hot conditions at Randwick today as well, so we have to keep monitored on that, and that Queensland Summer Carnival continues. But I'm really looking forward to seeing these horses today. Detonator Jack was absolutely scintillating in the gong. He runs in the Ingham today, and this guy is absolutely low flying. He's going for 4 in a row in today's Ballarat Cup. And Midnight in Tokyo, well, she didn't have a great deal of luck last time out. She runs in the Gateway. Can she make amends and get her nose in front at the right time?
All of that to come. We'll be looking out for those horses. One key thing about today is going to be the weather, and of course Ballarat, we really have our focus there because they're expecting rain on the day, and it's just going to be with how those track conditions hold up. As you can see, currently a good 4, but we have heard showers throughout the day. You've got that rail out 2 metres from the 400 metre mark to the winning post, true for the remainder, but we're certainly going to be watching conditions there in Victoria this afternoon. Well, let's get to Matt Hill's preview of the day at Ballarat.
Cometh the hour! Cometh the legend!
Emily, thank you very much and welcome to Ballarat. Unfortunately, it's a soggy Ballarat with a deteriorating track with a radar that's not looking that flash, but that's not going to dampen our enthusiasm for Sportsbet Ballarat Cup Day. 10 races on a big spacious circuit, looking forward to it. The Magic Millions 2-year-old race is one of the highlights early on in the program. Parkour, who is a $600,000 yearling for Godolphin on debut. It's going to be a really interesting runner in the second race to watch out for. Always tricky with the debutants, how they handle the rate affected going, but watch out for that in the Blue Army Silks with Parkour. And very competitive racing also with the 3-year-old classic, race number 7 on the program. A Little Deep is going to be hard to beat for Kieran Maher and David Eustace. As I mentioned, deteriorating track, but really strong action here at Ballarat on the screens of 7.
And we'll be looking forward to hearing from Matt throughout the afternoon. Lizzie, tell us about who you've put the star on today.
Well, I'd have to put it on the one and only Johnny Allen. He makes Ballarat his home. He was able to win the Ballarat Cup last year on Banker's Choice. He's been able to win 3 of the last Ballarat Cups. He hasn't been here for that long, so he's certainly the king of Ballarat. He rides Just Spoke, the Eclipse winner, All About Eve, My Yankee Girl, and VC to round out some of his terrific chances for today.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on him throughout. We are not too far away from a kickoff. Let's go back and relive what happened last year, 2022. It was all about Banker's Choice.
Banker's Choice is horse number 4 in this field. Hasn't won since he left New Zealand. I feel on this kind of grade today has to deliver to be sort of a horse that we follow in the future.
Ready to go. Racing at the 2,000 metres. Banker's Choice jumped away well with Flasher, Dark Dream and Future Score. They're the first 4 early. Cirileo Miss sticks to the inside. Kick 2.5 lengths in front around the corner. Future Score is going to hunt runs on the inside as Cirileo Miss drifts about 5 or 6 off. Foxy Frida runs on, then Banker's Choice. Where to look here in the Ballarat Cup? 200 to go. Foxy Frida, Banker's Choice with Future Score and a tissue late. Banker's Choice with 100 metres to go. Surges away. Banker's Choice. Johnny Allen's got his 3rd Ballarat Cup.
Oh, it was a nice win, wasn't it, by Banker's Choice for Mike Moroney. Here's a look at the hope this year for the Moroney stable, and that's, of course, Swords Drawn, who is a key contender in this year's event. What about Just Folk, who's looking to bounce out of the Eclipse Stakes into this afternoon's Ballarat Cup? All of that to come here on 7 Racing. Well, the crowd, they have been enjoying some sun in amongst the rain. It's been a pretty drizzly day, though. Fans out in rainy conditions at Ballarat today. Into the mounting yard for our feature, the Ballarat Cup over the 2,000 metres, and horse number 1 is Young Werther. Wet track form is a little bit misleading, so don't rule it out based on that, because it's been good in some hot races on wet tracks. Third to a tissue in the Champion Stakes certainly stacks up very well, and that was without much luck. This is easier and finds a really nice race. The 2 was Just Folk, who we spoke about, and was good in the Eclipse.
Yeah, absolutely, and is actually going for 3 weeks in a row. He actually ran in the Cranbourne Cup and was able to run third on that occasion. Charterhouse won the race, and he backed up into the Eclipse and was really strong to the line, toughing it out, beating Danish Fortune. I think he's going to appreciate the sting out of the track. He looks as though he's in terrific order, and there's no reason why he can't continue on with it. Regal Power, Jamie Mott and John Meek Jr. combined together with this gelding. He's been pretty consistent this preparation without winning. He was able to run 4th in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, so he's back slightly in trip, which I think will suit him. He doesn't have too much exposed heavy track form, but he certainly has a win on the soft, which is very beneficial for him.
Swords Drawn is the next one that we look at. Great heavy track form and soft track home. Worked well in the Eclipse, and you can expect another solid effort at third up, and can often perform pretty well in a third up state. Last campaign, of course, was placed in a third up condition. Was the 5 Swords Drawn. 6 is Midnight Blue. Midnight Blue comes through Seymour. Now with the Walker stable, looking to get a winning exposure. 7 since that last win, though.
Yeah, we've seen horses turn the table around, being able to be quite effective in these types of races. He does get conditions to suit, so I wouldn't say anything negative. I really like this mare. I thought she was the one that was flying under the radar. I thought her Cranbourne Cup run was excellent. She covered a lot of ground. She's the fresh legs going into this race, and she's always struck me as a horse that's going to get better with a bit of time on her side, and she hasn't disappointed me. 2 runs in this campaign. I think she's knocking on the door, and this is a perfect race for her. The 10 is Captain Envious, who's pretty well weighted with the 54 kilos and a soft draw. This is hard, but is pretty consistent recent form off the back of that last start, third at Caulfield in the Country Cup, and the soft draw will really help, and you can expect another bold run from Captain Envious for Mick D. Yeah, another one that has got really consistent form without winning out of turn is Red Sun Sensation. Jamie Carr partners this galloper for the first time this preparation, and has been so consistent through the Country Cup scene. Was able to run second behind Ain't No Deal Done in the JRA Cup, then second in the Kyneton Cup, and then second again in the Country Cup. So really, if we've got to look for a horse that's deserving of getting their nose down in front, Red Sensation is definitely that one. How do you find the 12 En Francais? Yeah, En Francais for Lachlan Neindorf and Jake Stevens. Comes through South Australia with the Morphettville recent outings, of course. Placed at both of those. Placed at 4 of 5 this time in, and just the only miss was at the Valley. So if you put a line through that, outside has been very, very consistent. Nick Ashman from Sportsbet, to you for a look at the market.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. They've backed 4 horses here, 2 in the market and 2 sort of long shots, if you like. So let's take a look at that market now, courtesy of the one and only Sportsbet. We're racing at Sportsbet Ballarat. This is Sportsbet Ballarat Cup. Captain Envious is one of them, $7.50 into $4. Just Folk, the likely leader of the race, on trial at 2,000 metres, but loves the wet and on the 7-day backup, $9 into $4.80. Then take your eyes down a little further down the page to number 5, Swords Drawn for Mike Moroney. Loves training a stayer, $34 into $13. And even further down, right to the outside of the field, number 6, Midnight Blue. A bit of a Kiwi connection here. $81 was bet on Wednesday afternoon into $35. Around 15 cents in the dollar is your deduction. So the favourite here will be Captain Envious. Best back to beat it, I'd have to say, is Just Folk, $9 into $5. Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call that number on the screen or visit the website.
And with the heavy conditions, we've seen a number of scratchings. Ain't No Deal Done has come out. Skelm, of course, Wicklow, Fujita, San also a scratching. That's what's up for grabs. The Ballarat Cup and $500,000. Last year it went to Mike Moroney and John Allen, banker's choice. And Mike has a nice chance this year with swords drawn peaking in a third up condition. Lizzie, your final thoughts of the market?
Well, I think that Foxy Cleopatra would be the one that I'm sort of aiming towards. I'd love to see Johnny Allen make it 4 Ballarat Cups, back-to-back Ballarat Cups as well. He's made this race his own, so he's definitely on the right horse with Just Folk. And when you see a horse like him, Will, in just terrific order, Gavin Bedgegood is just deciding to run him. He's just keeping him happy in between races, and that seems to be doing the trick the last few weeks.
Particularly when you're getting horses that run over a fair bit of ground. You want to keep the revs purring. You know, you want to keep running them, keep getting the miles into their legs. It's amazing how quickly horses, particularly staying horses, can go backwards in condition if you don't work them or put enough work into them. We're seeing, I think it's Young Werther there getting resaddled. I wouldn't get too anxious about seeing him playing some old tricks. They're old boys, they know what they're doing. I'm sure he's not too panicked, but
When do you get nervous when they get resaddled, replated behind this start? Because a lot of trainers just can't even look when that happens.
The resaddling one has always been one that you always take a little bit of personal responsibility as the person saddling it. So, but there have been jockeys that have been notorious to do it in the past. I remember Glyn Schofield would do it nearly every time you saddled it. So I stopped taking responsibility for that one, but.
Craig Williams?
Yeah, I haven't had as much to do with Craig, but Foxy Cleopatra, I've followed her the whole way through, knowing that she came from the Oaks last spring and had such a long layoff. I actually think Laurie Daly is a part owner.
And Ryan Pappenhausen.
There you
go. So some pretty heavy hitters.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want them to be coming at me. I'd say they've had some tougher hit-ups than I have.
At the top of the market to Foxy Cleopatra, and you just think has to be peaking. Third up after the 12 months off should be Cherry Ripe from the Trent Busselton and Natalie Young stable. Nick, we'll get to you for the market mover.
It's a photo finish, and we'll go with number 10, Captain Envious, 750 into 370, but plenty of money for the 2 Just Folk as well.
Good stuff. This is the Ballarat Cup over the 2,000 metres, and we're waiting for the last of our contenders to make their way up to the gates. And as we heard there, we've got on top in this next one, Foxy Cleopatra, but certainly consideration for Young Werther, Just Folk, who bounces through the eclipse last week and is in top form, and we know handles the off-track conditions. There's plenty to assess in the heavy conditions here at Ballarat, and there's lots up for grabs. Matt Smith will be standing by. Matt Hill, apologies, will be standing by to get us through the next at the Ballarat Cup.
Ballarat Cup at 2,000 metres, ready and racing. Just Folk from barrier number 1 beat them out with On Francais, and Young Werther ridden with aggression. Red Sun Sensation, Regal Power from the deep, and behind them Swords Drawn midfield from Captain Envious. Second last Midnight Blue, and Foxy Cleopatra last at the 1,700 metres. It's On Francais leading the cup field by a length and a quarter. Regal Power and Red Sun Sensation. They were followed by Just Folk, who's going to tuck in next on the inside of Young Werther. 2 lengths to Swords Drawn, Captain Envious, Midnight Blue, and Foxy Cleopatra last at the 1,400 metres. On Francais attempts to slacken it from Regal Power. Red Sun Sensation overreacting, fighting the jockey on the outside of Just Folk. A length Young Werther, a length and a half Captain Envious and Swords Drawn. Then Midnight Blue and Foxy Cleopatra together at the end. 1,200 metres to run. It's On Francais down this lovely long back straight by a length and a quarter. Regal Power. A gap in the field then to Just Folk, the inside of Red Sun Sensation. A length and a quarter Young Werther, who is spotting the leader about 6 lengths. A length and a quarter Captain Envious and Swords Drawn from Midnight Blue, and Foxy Cleopatra last as On Francais just tried to sneak away at midway. 1,000 metres to go to the side, led by 3 lengths On Francais. From Regal Power second, Red Sun Sensation third. A length and a half Young Werther outside of Just Folk, 2 lengths to Swords Drawn. Then came Captain Envious. Midnight Blue's trying to get something going from the back of the field, and Foxy Cleopatra still last as they come to the turn. On Francais, 500 metres to go, is still 3 lengths Red Sun Sensation. Then Regal Power, who's battling a little. Just Folk on the inside, saving ground. Young Verta produced towards the middle of the course, and then came Captain Envious. On Francais at the 250. Just Folk trying to hunt it down with Young Verta, and Captain Envious right down the centre of the course, bumping into Young Verta below the 200. Just Folk up to On Francais, but Captain Envious runs on by. Captain Envious, 2 lengths, 3 lengths coming clear. Captain Envious won the Ballarat Cup from Young Verta, Just Folk and On Francais. A gap swords drawn, then Red Sun Sensation, Regal Power, Foxy Cleopatra, Never Warm, and Midnight Blue was last.
Captain Envious, Mick D's having a very good day out at the races, picks up another victory and the Ballarat Cup. Captain Envious coming through that Country Cup at Caulfield where was placed, and as they turned in, was held up in a little bit of traffic, but once he got it out wide and into clear running, really worked home and built the revs up the straight.
He looked to be the only horse travelling in behind the on-speed horse. I just thought that it looked as though he was the only one sort of really going through the line, and you can see that he's travelling much better than anything else. On Francais has put up the white flag. You can see there, Just Folk just sort of really sharply pushed out on Young Werta, which was definitely going to sort of impede his running to the line, but really he was off and gone. He was a horse that absolutely loved the conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting to that point now where the conditions are so dire down there in terms of the ground that we're really just looking for horses that are handling it better than anything else. You can really tell how your horse is going as they start to straighten. The ones that get balanced and start ploughing through that ground are the ones that are going to kick on. I thought On Francais was game out in front. I thought it looked the winner at the top of the straight. Probably lacked just that little bit of class, and I thought, you know, Young Werther he's coming back into some old form, you know, so he's not far away either.
Just in that head-on, I wondered if Just Folk was reacting to a clod that came off on Francais and hit him. He sort of darted out wide. Might be able to watch that again, but certainly caused a little bit of interference. If we look at it here, and Just Folk just coming up alongside our leader On Francais, and when this clot, oh, I didn't quite get him. No, it flew, but it didn't get him.
Sounds like a wife of a jockey trying to find a nice little excuse for the jockey.
Put that theory on the back bench. Anyway, it was good whilst it lasted.
Yeah, 3 winners for
maybe that'll be what they'll be trying to say in the stewards room too. But 10, 1, 2 and 12 are your numbers over the line. Captain Envious gets the Ballarat Cup for 2023, and Captain Envious with Paul Prushka and Mick D take out this year's edition of the race. We're going to get you off to a break, and we look ahead to Insurrection and Zach Lloyd. Can they make it 5 from 5 as a partnership? To score. Well, let's set the scene at Randwick, because we've also got a big afternoon with the $2 million Ingham coming your way later on. In comparison to Melbourne, we've got a really hot day. We've got a max of 40 degrees, and I know Randwick are implementing that heat policy, so limited time outside for trainers and jockeys. Good ball conditions, and you've no doubts that it's going to stay that way throughout the afternoon. Let's talk about who gets the star.
Yeah, it's hard to go past Nash at the moment. He's leading the premiership. He rode 3 winners last night on his birthday, so hopefully he can start his new year of birth with another big book at Randwick. I really like Cepheus and I really like Way to the Stars. They probably swayed my way, but it's just hard to knock a jockey that's in such good form. Oh, he certainly is. Cepheus is such a consistent performer too, isn't it? So Nash Rawler gets the star at Randwick. First time we've been at Randwick since the big dance. An update around that Sydney's Jockey Premiership. And Nash is ahead, but it's pretty competitive in Sydney.
It is. Well, he extended his lead by 3 last night. He was able to knock 3 in the bag, and that was a great performance from him. He's just riding in such great style, and he was able to win 2 of those 3 races for this man, Chris Waller, who has extended his lead as well. He had 4 winners last night at Canterbury, and again, he has a massive team going around today. It's incredible, really, if you go back to Nash. He spends every 2nd or 3rd week off with the amount of times he gets suspended. So to be in the lead is actually an incredible feat. But Chris Roller's really starting to hit his straps now. Gain Agent have had an incredible start to the season, but they'll be trying to claw a few back today. Well, as we heard, implementing that heat policy, jockeys will be spending as much time as they can in the air conditioning as they get themselves geared up, ready for the first of the day, a highway over the 1,400 metres. Reminisce on some of the stars that have worn the famous cerise colours.
So there's a lot of history still there. There's still statues at Woodlands itself. So have been such a crucial part of Australian racing for such a long period of time.
We look back at some of the amazing horses that have raced in their colours. Is there a favourite for you? We've got Octagonal, Lonhro, Catkins, Fangirl. Is there one that stands out?
Oh, there's a couple that stand out. I used to love Niello as well. Lonhro's little brother, of course, he was able to win a Rosehill Guineas, a Caulfield Guineas, and he was just such an incredible horse. The spring champion was one of them. Fangirl, well, she has just been absolutely brilliant.